Hello and good day, Mike Adcock with an update on Typhoon Matmo located near Taiwan. This briefing is based on the 12 Zulu Japan Meteorological Agency advisory from the 22nd of July. Taking a look outside at satellite here, do have the convective bands associated with the typhoon really starting to wrap up into the center of circulation. Do have a clear slot here on the northwestern side of the eye right now. That's starting to wrap around that center of circulation, trying to get some sort of an eye type feature to develop there. Meanwhile, as you can see there, a lot of the convective bands are moving inland over Taiwan, so that's going to give them some very heavy rain over the next several hours. Let's get the latest information from JMA as of 12 Zulu or 8 p.m. local time there in Taiwan. Center of circulation was about 95 kilometers east-southeast of Taitung, or about 300 kilometers south of Taipei. It is moving off to the northwest at 25 kilometers per hour. Maximum sustained winds are 130 kilometers per hour with gusts up to 185. With a pressure of 965 hectopascal. JMA or JTWC rather, a little bit stronger. A lot of that's associated just with the conversion between 10-minute wind speeds and 1-minute wind speeds. Nonetheless, JTWC right now looking at 155 kilometers per hour with gusts up to 195. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest weather warnings. This is out of the Central Weather Bureau of Taiwan. Highlighted there in purple, this is a heavy rain, or this in purple is an extremely torrential rain warning. In red is torrential rain, orange for extremely heavy rain, and then yellow for heavy rain. Bottom line here, a lot of flooding concerns, landslide concerns, especially in the mountainous terrain. So it's definitely something that we're going to have to watch over the next day or so. Meanwhile, do have an orange warning out for typhoon there in the eastern provinces of China. Basically there in the next 12 hours, they're anticipating a tropical cyclone to make landfall, bringing average winds of force 10 on the Beaufort scale and gusts up to force 12. All right, let's take a quick look at Dvorak. You do see that clear slot here on the northwestern side. All the agencies right now going with a T4.5, which would get you in and around the ballpark of 145 kilometers per hour generally. Nesdis right now, different. They use the embedded center technique, medium gray right now, getting them a data T of 4.0. So they opted for the model at 4.5. JTWC, on the other hand, they use the eye pattern, off-white eye with a medium gray. That got them a 4.5. The only outlier here is the advanced Dvorak technique. That's the objective system there, 5.2, which would be a little bit stronger, about 95 knots. All right, taking a look out across the Pacific, do have a weakening frontal boundary here off the coast of Japan. That's slowly meandering its way eastward. The big story is very strong high pressure that's wedging its way over Guam and toward our typhoon here, getting ready to make landfall. Do also want to point your attention to this tropical depression here just north of Palau. Keeping an eye on that as it continues to make its way westward. This lines up here with the JMA surface analysis from 6Z. Again, here's this very strong area of high pressure, currently 1,028 hectopascal. It's forecast to continue to strengthen. Do have that wedging again off to the south, south and west. But what ends up happening over the next few days is we start to get these mid-latitude systems move through, and it pushes and cause a weakness in this finger of the subtropical ridge. That in turn is going to cause our tropical cyclones to make a little more poleward shift. All right, first off, we'll take a quick peek over at composite reflectivity out of Taiwan. Do see the eye there off the coast. Very heavy rains making its way though in the mountains of Taiwan. So again, flooding concerns, landslides definitely are going to be of concern here. All right, we'll go through the forecasts here. JMA, here's the official forecast track, again, making landfall there in Taiwan. starting to make that shift as the mid-latitude trough approaches from the northwest. That's going to pull the system more northward after about the day and a half, 2-day time frame, and then eventually start pulling that off toward the northeast. We're going to have to continue to monitor this. Again, it's going to weaken substantially over eastern China, but once it continues to make it that turn toward the Korean Peninsula and then eventually northern Japan, we'll have to continue to monitor this for the threat of heavy rainfall. Again, all the agencies pretty much on point. This is what Taiwan is saying. Again, impact there for Taiwan, and then later on for the eastern provinces. This is speaking of the eastern provinces of China here, a little more specific breakdown from the China Meteorological Agency from earlier this morning. And then here is the Korean forecast. They do bring it a little bit further south, crossing over toward, again, Seoul, Pyongyang. Those areas are definitely going to be under the threat for extremely heavy rain as we get toward the weekend. Really, you're looking at, easily about 50 millimeters to 100 millimeters at least. So some that we'll have to continue to monitor. And then again, here is the JTWC forecast that is being produced by the U.S. military. Again, landfall there in Taiwan, eastern China impacts for the near term. And then just putting all those forecast tracks on top of each other, the models are in really good agreement, so no real issues there. The initial intensities generally about the same. A couple outliers there. The big one, of course, JTWC, and really that a large contributing factor there is just the conversion between 10-minute winds to 1-minute winds that the Americans use. All right, we've been talking about precipitation. That is my main concern with this system. Highlighted there in white, that's identifying rainfall over the next 5 days to accumulate to over 200 millimeters. There in red, that's going to be 100 millimeters, and then 50 millimeters for those locations highlighted in orange. So again, very, very heavy rainfall across the entire island there in Taiwan. And then as it makes landfall in eastern China, again, looking at very heavy rainfall for the remainder of your week. All right, moving on to the surface plots. Do see some very strong winds in and around the typhoon, bringing very heavy rains. A lot of the stations there in Taiwan reporting rainfall at 12 o'clock Zulu. And taking a look at the weather over there in 10U, right now, very heavy rainfall, winds sustained right now out of the west-southwest at 69 kilometers per hour. That rain is reducing our visibility down to 3 kilometers. And notice the pressure there at 979 hectopascal. On the mainland there in Taidong, moderate rainfall in there, that's restricting the visibility down to 6 kilometers. A little bit lighter winds out of the north at only 19 kilometers. And our pressure at 968 hectopascal. Of course, keep it here at westernpacificweather.com for more information on the typhoon. You can also follow along on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. They're listed below. Join in on the conversation over at Storm2K as well. You can follow me at Twitter. I'll be posting the updates in between videos. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day. Be safe out there and take care.